The law they didn't want you to understand, inspired by the teachings by Neville Goddard. In the next 10 minutes, you're going to understand something most people never will. Not because it's hidden, but because it's too dangerous to accept. Because if this clicks, you won't just change how you think. You will change how reality responds to you. You will understand why some people seem to receive solutions out of nowhere. Money appears, opportunities align, problems collapse without force, and others struggle for years, doing everything right, and nothing moves. This is not luck. This is not motivation. This is a law. A law Neville Goddard spent his life trying to explain, but most people diluted into positive thinking. It is not positive thinking. It is the physics of consciousness. And if you stay until the end, you will not just understand it. You will know exactly how to apply it in a way that produces real, observable change. Everything you are experiencing right now, your finances, your stress, your circumstances, exists in what we call the third dimension. This is the world of matter, slow, dense, observable. But here's the part most people miss. The third dimension does not create, it only reflects. Every situation you are dealing with is an echo, a delayed projection of something that already happened in a deeper layer. That layer is what Neville pointed to as imagination. Not fantasy, not daydreaming. A fourth-dimensional field of reality where outcomes exist before they appear. Think about this like physics. In classical mechanics, you see an object move after force is applied. But in quantum physics, the system behaves differently. The outcome is not fixed until observation collapses it. Your consciousness is that observation. Your emotional state is the force. Your subconscious mind is the field that executes it. So when you panic, when you worry, when you obsess over the problem, you are not reacting. You are instructing the system. And the system does not argue. It obeys. Now here is where everything breaks. Your instinct tells you to fight your problems. Fix them. Control them. Figure them out. But this instinct is based on survival. And survival thinking is incompatible with creation. Because every time you fight a problem, you confirm it is real, important, and requires energy. And according to one of the most basic laws of physics, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. You push, it pushes back. You resist, it persists. Not as a metaphor, as a system. Your resistance is not neutral. It is force. And that force keeps the structure intact. That's why nothing moves. You are applying pressure to the very thing you want to dissolve. Now here is the part that feels insane. To change the outcome, you must stop fighting it. Completely. Not partially, not temporarily. Completely. This is what Neville was pointing to when he spoke about assuming the wish fulfilled. Because when something is already fulfilled, you are not resisting it. You are not worried about it. You are not chasing it. You are not trying to fix it. You are at ease. And that state is what opens access to the fourth dimension. But here is the problem. You cannot just pretend to be calm, because your subconscious does not respond to words. It responds to emotional truth. If you say, "It's fine," but feel fear, the system reads fear and continues the pattern. So the question becomes, how do you actually remove resistance? How do you stop feeding the system without collapsing into inaction? This is where the real technique begins. Not positive thinking, not visualization, surrender. But not the version you've been told. Not passive, not weak, precise, mechanical. Surrender is the act of transferring the problem from the conscious mind to a higher level of intelligence. Neville described this as the deeper self, the I am, a level of awareness that already contains the solution. So when you say, "This is no longer my burden," you are not being poetic. You are issuing a command. You are telling the subconscious, stop processing this as a threat. Stop generating solutions through fear. This file is closed, and something measurable happens. The stress response drops. The neural loop weakens. The mental repetition stops. You literally interrupt the circuitry of anxiety. And in that moment, you stop broadcasting the problem, which means the system stops recreating it. Now, let's make this real. There was a woman under extreme financial pressure. Deadlines closing in, creditors calling, every thought filled with urgency. She did what most people do. She tried to solve it, panic, strategize, push harder. Nothing worked. Then she was given an instruction that felt almost offensive. Be nonchalant.
How can I be calm when everything is falling apart?
But here was the explanation. Her fear was not helping. It was the blockage. Her anxiety was a signal of lack. And as long as that signal was active, the system could not deliver a different outcome. So she did something unnatural. She stopped fighting, not externally, internally.
It doesn't matter anymore. I trust it's handled.
And in that moment, something shifted. Not outside, inside. The tension dropped. The urgency disappeared. And then the phone rang. The money arrived from a source she did not expect. Now you can call that coincidence, or you can understand the mechanism. The resistance was removed. The signal changed. The system responded. This is the part most people never grasp. You are not creating the solution. You are removing the interference that was blocking it. The solution already exists in the fourth dimension. Your job is to stop rejecting it, and you reject it through resistance, through fear, through control. So when you surrender, you are not giving up power. You are stopping the misuse of it. Now here is the critical phase. After you let go, there is a delay, because the third dimension is slow. And during this delay, your mind will try to pull you back. It will say, what if nothing happens? What if this fails? And if you engage, even for a moment, you take the burden back. You restart the system. This is why most people fail. Not because the method doesn't work, but because they don't hold the state. They let go, then they grab again, and the loop continues. So the rule is simple. Once you release it, you do not touch it again. Mentally, emotionally, you leave it, and you move as someone whose problem is already solved, not pretending, being. And when you do this correctly, something unusual happens. You start receiving direction. Not loud, not dramatic, subtle, clear, a thought, a pull, an idea. Call this person, go here, do this. This is not panic. This is not overthinking. This is alignment. And when you follow it, the path opens, step by step, until what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. So understand this clearly. You do not solve your life by force. You solve it by alignment. You do not win by fighting harder. You win by becoming non-resistant. And the moment you do, the system that was working against you starts working for you.
If this shifted something in you, don't ignore it. Because this is exactly what we break down inside ZestifyUp. Not surface motivation, not empty advice. Real frameworks that change how you operate.
So if you're serious about this, stay close, subscribe, and comment, I release control. Because the moment you truly do is the moment everything starts moving.